Hey, gun people and Hell's Angels people. Okay, so quite a few people are sending me this video. Cop laughs about shooting biker because he needs paid vacation. Now, this was posted by the Life and Liberty Law Office. Let's see what they say about this, because I didn't read this. Pull over Hell's Angel for speeding, then turn the traffic stop into an hour-long detention. That's bullshit. Calling a dozen other officers from 5 different police departments to respond. So in his words, he loves getting to fuck with the Hell's Angels. Not real smart, but I'm not that offended yet. The on-scene officers can be heard checking with one as they arrived that everybody's body camera was off. So he thought his camera was off. They began sharing stories about violent things they had done to other bikers. I didn't hear that part. Maybe it was cut out. Topics turned into motorcycle officers tased to attempt to tase. The officer described the guy off the motorcycle was in motion, had a passenger, and they laughed. Okay, that's true. He does say that in this thing. He failed to deactivate. Mr. Mills retained law firm and sued the officer and their agencies in federal court for violations. Good. I like when government's held accountable. But Rick, the Hell's Angels are bad, and I don't care. Government needs to follow the law. It doesn't matter. Just a few months later, the case was settled following the agencies paying Mr. Mills $25 grand, and the officer writing Mr. Mills a letter of apology. Oh man, that would suck. I'm surprised they didn't put the letter of apology. I hate when they fucking make you sign this shit under, you know, you don't get money or you don't get to retire or whatever. They make you do these fucking coerced statements. Officer Miller has since resigned from the department. Some of these incidents unprofessional, cop jokes, all this, you don't need to take my word for it. Hearing the police like the, okay, so this is kind of the law firm kind of hating on cops, which I look, if you ain't out there doing stupid shit, they can't hate on you. I give this the credibility it deserves. Look, this law firm makes money off cops. He doesn't like it. I think we need lawyers like this to hold government accountable. If there wasn't lawyers like this, government would be 10 times worse. If you can even imagine that, without them getting sued or any chance of getting sued, or without being able to hold them accountable in federal court, they would be 10 times worse. And sooner or later, it's going to come down to where the courts ain't holding them responsible. They're going to be working in unison, so there will be no check and balance, and it will get worse, as we see every day. So here's the comments on these guys. Let's take a look at it.
Go ahead, shut your bikes.
Normally, Hell's Angels travels in 2 or more. I've rarely seen a Hell's Angel by himself. I've seen some prospects by themselves. In Vallejo, there was when I worked there, I don't know if it's still there, there used to be a Hell's Angels chapter in Vallejo. I don't know if they moved or whatever. And as a matter of fact, one cop got in trouble because he used to go hang out there and was friends with them. And they were always giving him shit. They ended up firing a cop later. But they didn't like the fact that he was hanging out with them. And in one of my crazy cop stories, I talk about Jeff Eshwar. They got shot and killed, and he was a friend of this guy. And Dan used to hang out there, and evidently he said to one of the Hell's Angels in front of another officer, I'm going to kill the dude that killed Jeff, or something to that effect. And that's what they used to end up firing a guy. But anyway, I digress. Here we go. Hell's Angels.
Outstanding. How you guys doing this evening?
Real good.
Good. Officer Miller, South PDA. The reason I pulled you guys over, you're going way too fast. I have.
So this cop is kind of being a sarcastic, way too fast. You know, when cops do things like that, they start talking down, start treating you like you're a kid, talking about like, I'm here for public safety. You know, I'm doing a really dangerous job out here. I'm stopping people speeding. My job is so tough that I get to sit on an off-ramp, and when you speed up to 85 to flow into traffic, I pull you over and tell you, you're going way too fast, and I had to save the day by pulling you over. I mean, cops like that, I mean, look, I hate little ticket writers. They can't go out and find crime, so they run around and write tickets.
I have no problem holding these motherfuckers till Greeley gets down here.
What?
Okay, so the cop's telling another cop he's got no problem holding these motherfuckers, the motherfuckers being the Hells Angels, until Gridley. So he's going to detain them for longer than it is to write a ticket, which is against the law. You can't do that. You can only detain somebody per the law. I know it's done all the time. Per the law, I can only detain you for the time it takes to stop you and do a reasonable stop. And I think like 10 minutes, I think, was considered reasonable. 15 could be reasonable if you say there was traffic or whatever, but once you get past 15, the courts have kind of said that's probably a little bit unreasonable. But there's ways around that. If I want to detain you longer than 15 minutes, I'll say I was concerned for my safety. I had to get another officer here, and the officer was 10 minutes out, and I didn't feel safe walking up to you until the other officer got there because it would be dangerous. So I waited 30 minutes till the officer got there, and then I walked up to you, which is probably what this guy's excuse was.
I have no problem holding these motherfuckers till Greeley gets down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Hells Angels jacket, so yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, anytime we deal with these guys, we call in code, so.
All right, we'll just keep talking to them while you do what you got to do.
Yeah, all right. You want to let maybe Platteville and any agencies to Boulder know while I start scratching, that'd be great.
Okay, scratching is a term that ticket writers use when they write a ticket. I'm going to scratch them. CHP loves that term. They see somebody, guy gives them attitude. You know what? Go scratch his ass. So scratch means taking a pencil to paper and writing out, scratching a ticket. So the way this cop is talking just kind of tells me he's kind of a pussy. I mean, he's bragging, he's trying to impress the other cops, and I'm going to hold these motherfuckers, and I almost tased a guy on a bike. I mean, if you're telling freaking stories, I mean, most cops who are into shit, they just don't sit around and tell stories. I mean, if we're cracking on some crazy crook that did something, we may tell a story about, man, this motherfucker was crazy, and he like jumped and he started whacking off and he went over and, I mean, then we would, talk about a case like that. But to sit around and kind of brag about, I almost tased someone, but they had a passenger, so I didn't. That just smells of pussiness to me.
Probably just shot out and caught 85 straight out then.
Yeah. And ran into me.
So, big tough guy ran into me. So this guy's like, oh, they probably just shot on the on-ramp. Probably telling the guy, man, you pulled him over because they went 85? I mean, you're pulling on a traffic at 70 or 75, and you're leading in. They hit 85 on. What's the big deal? Did they endanger anybody? Did they cut somebody off? Hell no. They just sped on my highway and ran into me because I'm a tough guy.
And ran into me.
I guess Greeley's probably not going to come down here.
Oh, fuck, yes, they are.
When? After we cut them loose?
Oh, no, I told them we were holding them here until they get here. Get your ass down here.
So let's see, big tough guy. Oh, hell yeah, they will. Oh, yeah, I told them to get their ass down here. This guy is a freaking, God in his own mind. And, I mean, he's resigned now. He doesn't work, it sounds like. But it's just, this is the mentality that cops get when they usually work in podunk towns and they don't really deal with real crime, and they're not so busy doing paper and keeping up with calls and dealing with real violence that the highlight of their night is to pull over a couple of Hells Angels and just hold them on a highway for an hour till you get 5 other units there because you're so scared.
So in a couple hours.
I'm good. I mean, we get to fuck with it. I almost tased the guy off a motorcycle. He tried to go around me. He was a little slowed down, so I was going to tase him, but he had a passenger on the back of the bike, so.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man, you're tough. Man, that's a good story. He was going to go around you and you were going to tase him? Damn, man, I get all kind of chicken skin just hearing that. That's a good story. Freaking punk.
Well, if either one of them gets it, it's the tall dude.
I'm shooting him. I need some paid vacation.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so this is what most people have a problem about. Is he said, I'm shooting him and I got paid vacation. Look, man, cops, I don't really have a huge, I mean, this guy's a punk, but he probably ain't even pulled his gun on anybody lately. But anyway, cops make statements like that. You know, if somebody's going to complain on me, it'll be like, I'm going to complain. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Get out of my face. Go make your damn complaint. Man, you can't talk to me that way. Whatever. And, you know, if somebody would have said, dude, man, you know he's going to complain. They're going to substantiate it because you told him to shut the fuck up. I go, fuck, I need a day on the beach. I'll go to a fucking ball game and watch the ball game. So, I mean, just needing a day on the beach is another term for getting a day off. You get suspended for a day. You still get paid. I mean, you know, if you get suspended, you can take a sick leave or, you know, it's not like you're going to lose money. It's just kind of like it makes the stupid public think that you're being held accountable. I mean, a couple days suspension ain't the end of the world. Nobody cares. Now, you don't want to have a jacket full, and I don't think I've ever been suspended for a day. But you don't want to have a jacket full of 1 day, 2 day, 3 day suspensions because it obviously is going to start leaving a trail and looking like, you know what? How many times did you get verbally warned? How many times did you get talked to? How many times did you violate policy where they didn't give you a day off and now you got 6 times you had days off? That's why police records, their personnel records are usually kept pretty quiet and silent. That's why I think all cops, it should be in their personnel record every time they charge a resisting arrest. Because if a cop has 40 resisting arrest, maybe he's the problem. Now, if you're doing parole searches and all you do is arrest parolees at large, they're going to resist and they're going to run. And you're probably going to charge them every time. But resisting, I guess I should qualify that. If a cop is just charging resisting arrest as the primary charge, there's an issue. But if he's charging resisting arrest and the guy's wanted for a felon with a knife and he was armed and he tossed a gun and he threw dope and he ran and he kicked the officer and he did damage, well, those are different. So you can't just look at it in a bubble and go, oh my God, you know, it's kind of like my buddy Joe, who lied to his shrink and said when they asked how many times you tase people, he didn't want to be honest. So he toned it down and said, I think 100 or 200 when it was really like 500. And he goes, the psych freaked out. He goes, damn, man, I'd hate to see what she'd have done if I'd have told her how many times I really did it. So, I mean, but you know, when we were working, it was like everybody we dealt with. We were doing parole probation searches. We were chasing gang members. And, you know, we were getting chased 2 or 3 times a shift. And, you know, he may tase somebody 2 or 3 times a shift. So when you're dealing with those type of people, those amount of tasers have to be taken in context. Now, on the side note, I think he was a little taser happy. I mean, if somebody even reached for their pocket, he'd be like, man, I'm going to tase him. So he was a little taser happy for me. He never tased anybody in front of me that I thought that was unjustified, dude. You shouldn't have done that. He tased them where I didn't maybe said, dude, man, get the taser away. I don't want to freaking get taught. Let's just tackle the dude and snag his ass. And we went hands on a lot more than we tased people. I'll tell you that. Anyway, here we go.
Saying, if anyone even gets it, it's the tall dude.
You know what I mean?
No one has body cams, right?
We do, but they're off.
So the cop goes, man, we're talking shit, which is, look, I don't really have a huge problem with this. Cops are going to talk shit. If you think that the body cams are going to stop cops from talking shit or from having locker room talk or from talking about the last person they deal bet was an idiot or a dumbass or, you know, was nasty and what, that ain't going to happen. Now, you can fool yourself and say that, well, they should be professional and they should never. Look, I got no problem holding them accountable, but crap. Who the hell is this? Oh, that's my tax person. I got to take that. Hang on. Okay, back. Sorry.
Listen, you do what you got to do. I will wait till you're done before I go serve them their summons. So you
let me talk to the tall guy real quick, and I'm sure, like I said, he's gonna tell me to pound sand, and then we'll just all get out of here. Okay?
Well, one of them, they're going to be riding bitch because I'm taking one of their bikes.
Okay, so riding bitch means that you're riding a passenger, and if you tow one of their bikes, that means the other guy's got to give them a ride or they got to call somebody or whatever. So he's, again, flexing and talking about how tough he is.
Sucks to be him.
Yeah, and not only that, but I get to go through his whole bike, through his bags and everything, because I got to inventory that shit.
Okay, I've talked about inventory search. That was the way around a search warrant. The courts have ruled that you can't search without probable cause. However, when you tow a vehicle, the officer is allowed to do an inventory search. It's not a search due to probable cause. It's an inventory search to make sure that there's no damage and things that are in there are listed so the guy can't say he's complained. Well, that's basically a search, people. If I'm doing an inventory search, it doesn't matter whether I find dope because I have probable cause or I don't. You get charged, it's admissible, and you can't suppress it. It's kind of BS. It's a good tool for cops because we get to search every car we tow. So if you want to search a car and you don't have probable cause, and you can find a reason to tow the car, then you can tow the car and search it. Rick, they can't do this against the Constitution. We have a Constitution. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just telling you what the law is and how it's done. Okay, so
Everything. Because I got to inventory that shit.
okay, so look, the banter and the talk, I don't have a huge problem. The talking about I need a vacation because I shoot somebody. No cop goes out there saying, man, I'm going to shoot somebody tonight so I can get a vacation. Because even if you do get a vacation, it's not a vacation. The media is beating you up. You're facing losing your job. You may, if you shoot the wrong person and it starts riots, you get arrested. And so nobody wants to go out there and shoot somebody. However, cops do go out there with the mindset that our safety outrides everyone, children, women, background, public school, and it doesn't matter where you're at, our safety's number one. And if you do something to where I can shoot you, I'm going to shoot you, and I'm going to worry about it later. So that's the mindset that's out there. But I don't think cops wake up in the morning and go, yeah, let me go ruin my life, and I'm going to shoot somebody so I can get some vacation. That just don't happen, people. I mean, it sounds good for media and from a lawyer, but I'm not buying into that. And, people are going to say I'm wishy-washy. And you're saying the cops are out of control. The cops are out of control. Cops aren't held accountable. You're right. But I still don't think cops, now there may be a couple psychopaths, but most cops don't want to risk their pensions. And when you shoot somebody, you're risking your entire life and future because you just never know how it's going to play out. Maybe you're right, maybe not. But that's one of the things, when you carry a gun, you decide to shoot. That's why if you only shoot when you have no other options, you're probably going to be okay. But if you're out there trying to shoot when you have other options, you're probably going to trouble. All right, we'll end that there on getting a vacation for shooting somebody.